What is it?
Hello, welcome to The Essential Gamer. You're watching What Is It with me, Lee, and what it is Morbid, the Seven Acolytes, one of those double-named games that Yahtzee Croshaw loves so much. And this one is I want to say a Souls-like, but not in the traditional sense. As you can see, it's a very different art style to what most Souls-likes would take. It's this lovely 2D isometric top-down mappage, and just like any other Souls-like, it's full of lots of hard-to-kill baddies and the typical dodge roll maneuvers that you may expect from Souls. But what Morbid actually manages to do is put its own storyline and spin on it. It's delivered in the same way you meet friendly characters, and all these help to flesh out the story, and they give you quests to do, mainly quest givers, but some of them will tell you to bugger off, quite frankly. You'll come across some similar enemy types, but what the art directors have managed to do is make a varied selection of things that will kill you over and over again. The combat is very timing based. I mean, yes, you do have to look at how the enemy attacks, but as soon as you know their attack movements, you'll learn that there is a timing to everything. You have a stamina bar, and this very much dictates how quickly you can swing your sword and how often you can dive. You'll be able to level this stuff up. It's all fairly typical standard fare in that respect. You'll level up your character through finding runes to put on your weapons. You'll find different weapons, better weapons, and you'll take on bigger and badder enemies as you traverse these strange lands of Morbid, the Seven Acolytes, where you're basically tasked with taking on these seven demonic creatures, and I'm not actually showing you many of them. A lot of the things that you're seeing here are standard enemies, and Morbid captures that Souls rule of be bloody hard, because it lulls you into a false sense of security where you think everything's easy, and then even the simplest looking enemies will best you, but eventually you will be able to take on the big bads and win, and it is really satisfying. So, like most games of this kind, there is a place to go where you meditate and you basically bring back all your health. Also with the meditation, you will reset the enemies in the area, so that's quite fun if you want to try and level up and stuff like that. There's lots of lore and things to be found, as well as the missions, and at these altars that you'll find, they're basically your bonfires from Dark Souls. I say you'll find lore entries, there's like a codex, there's enemies, there's things for your weapons. I mean, to be honest, there's almost too much to read, but it is a nice break from swinging a sword stuff every so often. So if you do fancy just a slightly chill moment in the generally bloody affair, these are quite good. You also get lore delivered through the loading screens, and you don't get much in the way of interaction, but you do speak to NPCs, but this is nice. As I say, you level up your character finding things. There's items to use which are mapped to the D-pad, which is quite handy, and there's also things that you can add to your weapon, almost Final Fantasy materia system style, and I quite like it. So you attach runes to certain weapons, and you can have two loadouts going, and these will be a main melee weapon and a firearm. And the firearm sort of acts as your parry, almost in between your swinging of big swords. And the combat works quite nicely as you level up your weapons and level up your character. You get into things. You have to manage your stamina, of course. There's also your sanity to manage, and the less sanity you have, the less damage you'll do. So you have to sort of manage these things incrementally as you go along, but you'll get used to the mechanics. The mechanics are fairly intuitive, and it's not Dark Souls or Demon Souls or Souls, but has captured what everyone's loving about the remake of Demon's Souls, for instance. Like, it's got that old school feel as well as being new, and you can cheese enemies, you can stand behind trees or walls and find certain hit points on things, and it's got all the things that you like about a Souls-like delivered in a fairly pleasant and varied world. I don't mind it, which is rare. So as you know, I'm not the biggest Souls fan, but Morbid the Seven Acolytes, with its pleasant art style and fairly intuitive combat system, will get a 3 Mr. T's from me. Diddly dee. As always, if this video has been any good to you, please do like and subscribe, and if it hasn't, tell me why. I'll go and sacrifice myself to a big old demon, and that'll be the end of that. There'll be no more videos. That'll be your fault. Fuck you.